Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second part of our budget workshop, Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. The time is now 5:45. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Mayor Taylor.
Here. As we stand for our pledge of allegiance. Communication. All about pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for all the many blessings. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless the great city of Opa-locka and continue to elevate us as we know you can. Amen.
Amen.
Our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're gonna go ahead into our public comments. And we ask those of you that are speaking under public comments that you stay germane to the topic at hand, which is the budget. Public comments is open. Madam Clerk, do we have any online? All right. Public comments is closed. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it over back into the hands of our city manager's office. So that I think we left off at Public Works, if I'm not mistaken.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly.
while they're coming up, because I want to be clear, just informed by the manager's office, because I got calls about it, that when they're doing the presentations, the public can't see like what's on the screen in terms of the items. They can only see us. I wasn't aware of that. So I want to make that clear. I guess it's a technology thing that we got to still work through. So that's why when presentations is going on and we're looking at booklet and they're listening, but they're still just seeing us. So I want to make that clear for those who are tuned in. But is a copy available online or what we have online somewhere that they could access?
Yes, it is available online and they can also hear, but they can't actually see it.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. They can't see the information. So it is online. If you want to go and pull it up, but we do apologize for that from the other night because I wasn't aware of it till I actually left here. So I want to make that known, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor, real quick, I'm so sorry. Are we saying they won't be able to see it at all? Because I was told the same thing. Or will they be able to see the remainder of tonight?
They can see the actual meeting, but they can't see the presentation,
And
actual
that-
presentation.
And
that's
there's no way
shown.
to fix that?
No, because they can't show the commission and the presentation at the same time because it's being aired live on YouTube.
So why do we need to be seen?
Yeah, can it just show the presentation?
Just show the
Here, what-
presentation.
I can,
I would prefer the presentation and not the commission. I mean, because there was some other comments about that and different PowerPoints that went up, not just yesterday,
okay.
presentations. And I think the residents and they need, especially our seniors that are plugging in, they need to be able to visually see what's going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and one more thing before, Madam Manager, I don't see the updates from the budget from what we discussed on Monday. I don't think it was provided.
It's in this document, Mayor, that says addendum.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. All right.
Is this the one that was mailed about an hour or two ago, whatever?
Yeah.
That's what this is? Okay.
Okay, so, Madam Manager, the only thing I want to ask, and I brought this up in my briefing, we need to get this ahead of time. Like yesterday. The meeting was Monday, maybe the end of the day yesterday, so we would have time to actually review it. But, all right. You can go ahead and start your presentation.
Mr. Date?
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. Welcome back. Thank you again.
One second.
Yes,
The manager's not coming?
The manager is here. I was advised that he would be about 30 minutes late.
Okay.
so Mr. Manager, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, you are correct. We did leave off on Public Works. There are three departments in FY 25 for Public Works. The first one is the administrative offices. That is Director Aria, Director of Public Works. That's his administrative area. Uh, Can I take your Ps and Qs and say if there's any questions regarding that? I know that's how we did it and
Yeah,
that saved a lot of
we're
time,
gonna- We're gonna
Mr.
stay in
Mayor.
the same vein, but
Yep,
we can bring him up and then I know
Yep,
a lot of
uh,
my colleagues have questions that relate to Public Works.
yep.
So,
So there's an administrative department, there is roads and streets, and there is fleet,
can you
what we
give us
call the vehicles.
the page number for
Yes.
Public Works, please.
Sure.
I can't
So
see
the
it.
Public Works Administration is in the budget book on page 122 and 123.
23. And you say he's also gonna be discussing roads, sidewalks. Okay,
Correct,
Moving
which
on,
is
sir.
immediately following those, but if you,
got it.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Dave.
you're welcome.
Mr. Al.
Yes.
Any questions for Public Works? Commissioner Kelly?
Questions? Okay.
You want to hear a presentation?
No, I.
They're gonna read
I
off
didn't
the
know.
paper. That's
I
all.
didn't know. No, I don't have a problem with,
All right.
yeah, we're gonna need that time anyway, so.
One
Well, let me just start off, 'cause I want to reference the page. I don't like to just talk without referencing a page in the document. On page number, I guess, 67, which starts it off, I have some question regarding the repairs for sidewalks, first of all, because I noticed in the book, and again, you got to go to the book versus the workshop, which is really not something conducive for us to keep up with. I just want to say that for the record as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm not really thrilled with having to go back and forth as though I don't have a clue what I'm doing, because I got two separate books that I have to reference. So let me begin by saying that. But on page one, I think it's 122 in the budget book, I believe.
Roads and sidewalks is on 128. and
Yeah, I'm
129.
just trying to get to the whole section because the way it's broken down into divisions. But let me start with the roads and streets. We have a lot of sidewalks in our city right now because of trees out there that the sidewalks are just, they're uprooted, they're high, they're all over the place. And I noticed, and that's what I was trying to find quickly, the line item that you have budgeted for that, because you have it under, I'm gonna assume, well, I'm not gonna assume, on page 129 of the budget book, you have for some sidewalk grinding, 12,000, sidewalks replaced, 30,000, sidewalks repair, 15, you have miscellaneous, and all those are under other contracted services. I know we're supposed to be working on sidewalk repair all the time, not new construction, but sidewalk repair, not what is happening in terms of what the county is doing out there, but I'm seeing the ones in the neighborhoods that I see. So where are we at? What kind of program is in place doing that now? Because I'm assuming we're already working on that, because that's been an issue too for our risk management, because people tend to want to sue for stuff like that. I know over the years, we've had people sue because they fall, trip, whatever. So what is the process of how that works? And the reason I'm asking that, because I've seen so many areas of sidewalks, I'm not even sure that's enough money. So that's why I don't know how that process works, because you're contracting them out. You're contracting them out by street, because I know the way you have it worded in here, you're doing so many linear feet, but the way I look at this, you're gonna need more than a couple linear feet. So how do you work that out with a contractor to do it?
No, I explain. Mayor Commissioners, Owen Carney from Public Works, Operation Manager of Utilities. Currently, we did a total assessment by a contract service that came in and assessed areas for where tripping hazards, as well as new sidewalk where it's broken that needs to be replaced. So the phase one is already completed far as zone area for certain grind station, the grinded tripping. Phase 1 is completed. Now phase 2 is the next step. And as far as the other ones that is needs for total replacement, we are the roads and streets division, restoration division is going to be working through that with the combination as the assistant with the beautification of Mr. King to try to address those as
So
well.
we're not contracting any of that out?
Yeah, just the tripping ones. They did a total assessment citywide and they
No, I got the assessment.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that. I'm saying the assessment came back and told you where they bad, whatever.
Right.
And I'm saying where are we at now on actually implementing and addressing those areas that they've identified?
We already did a phase 1. A phase 2 is pending.
Okay, when you say phase 1, explain that to me.
Where phase 1 will be the area as far as the Ace Hardware, Opa-locka Boulevard is a range of areas within over the southeast section of the city going Opa-locka Boulevard to 27th Avenue. The other side is the phase 2 is mostly towards the residential area towards 151st. I don't have have it in front of me,
Okay,
but
I'm gonna give you a little break because you're not the director, but I'm not gonna give the manager's office a total break. I just rode down Opa-locka Boulevard the other day, and when you cross that school crossing area, right? When you go right out and go across the railroad track and go around, there's some concrete. I mean, it's so high till if an elderly person in their walker or in somebody, it would just trip them up. And I saw that like in 3 different places right close. And I could tell you there's a whole lot of areas right in that zone, if that would probably be the first zone, that have not been done. That's why I asked you what the process was, because I know they're all over the city. I know there was a assessment done, and how that was not done or hadn't been done already is besides me. Now, it's all over the city. It's all over the city. So I want to know really the amount you have, because you're contracting some of that out. You said you're contracting some or all.
some of it, just the tripping one that needs to be grinded. But the ones
Okay,
that to be
so-
total removal is in-house.
Did the assessment that came back give y'all price estimates too?
Yes,
Okay, so the price assessment they gave y'all match these totals?
that would be up to Ms.
y'all
Austin in the budget.
please.
Yep.
No, I'm not aware of.
That's what I was told by Mr. Austin when we did our budget analysis.
So y'all gonna throw Mr. Austin in the bus? Okay,
Yep.
all right,
I
I'm
do
just
want to
being-
point
I'm
out,
just being-
we
I-
did
I
get
don't
a,
See with the, and I'm just talking about that one, because he just referenced Opa-locka Boulevard. When I rode that the other day, I saw like 4 or 5 areas, and one in particular that I'm mentioning is probably gonna need a whole lot, because you got to take the tree up literally, and because it's there, and then you got one almost in front of someone's driveway that's sticking up. So I'm quite sure when they pull in there, they got to go over that. Fortunately, I guess they haven't had too many challenges, or they realize it's there. So I'd like to see that plan, that assessment that was done, where it's at exactly, and they said it needs to be done first, and what has been done. And I'm asking that because I don't believe that's enough money citywide or whatever. How much is the assessment told you that you're supposed to be trying to do in these phases?
I don't have that information
Okay.
available. Right now.
I think you hear my concern about the sidewalks all over the city. And if they're done in phases, then they would have said to you, here are the most challenged, and I don't know how that one would have been left out. But when you leave here, if you go right out there and go down Opa-locka Boulevard, you will see it, but it's all over the city. And these are not new construction. These are sidewalks, been there for years. And a lot of them, the trees are pushing them up. And that's the other challenge why I'm always concerned we do these tree planting and whatever, because the trees have pushed them up. So you need to take a look at that, I guess, and get back with us. The other thing that I had regarding Public Works, a lot of these things seem to be contracted out for different things. I'll put it like that. But I'm really concerned about, we spent money to create the beautification division. We spent money putting stuff into it. So I'm really challenged that we're still contracting a lot of stuff out. We're still contracting a lot of stuff out. And I don't really understand why we're contracting a lot of stuff out. I understood when we first started Ingram Park, trying to get it cleaned up, the lakefront, down at the bottom, it was more than we could handle because we didn't have the equipment or whatever. My understanding is we got the equipment now for a lot of that, things throughout the city. But I noticed we're still contracting, things out. Am I wrong? Am I right? Y'all tell me. I'll stand down if y'all tell me I'm incorrect.
No, you're not incorrect, sir.
Pardon me?
You're not incorrect.
Okay. And that's a challenge for me because if we're gonna contract the contract, but we can't contract and we got the staff, I will pay them if they can do it. I'm assuming they can, because some of the things I'm talking about are simple. Mulching, things like that. That's not that technical. Pay them that extra money for that, whatever Saturday or whatever they got to stay late, especially in the summer, that we're using to do that. And I see that throughout. So that's a concern that I, also have. And the last one is on the vehicles. And I asked this question to the police department, so I'm hoping my answer is in here. I haven't had a chance to look at it. I know we got a lot of new vehicles, from Public Works and whatever equipment with trucks. Are the trucks that you all have that have come in the last year or two or whatever, are they the same concept as the police with the 5 years we own them?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so when did that take effect? Like what we on year 2 of that contract or whatever?
They are staggered, so there's multiple cars. So couple cars may have been 4 years ago, other cars are 3 years ago, other cars are 2 years ago. We didn't have an opportunity to get the entire analysis to you, but we will. It's just not we were trying to get the budget numbers to you first. So they are staggered, and we'll get you how they're staggered and how when they're coming off of lease and et cetera.
Okay, so you'll get that.
Yes, sir. That is on our list to get you.
Okay, and the last thing you have budgeted, you have an inventory assistant in the budget. I guess that's a new position, part-time.
It is a part-time new
And
position.
what
Yes.
is that position going to entail?
That's gonna be inventory clerk for the motor pool. Cause unfortunately, Public Work has inventory for the motor pool. It was established in 1956. We still have parts in the inventory room from 1956. So now we need inventory to sort out old, new, and moving forward.
Okay, so this person is supposed to be going back, looking at old inventory or?
Old and then refreshing our new inventory moving forward.
But I thought that was one of the reasons why we have went to all this new technology to be able to do that kind of stuff, but I have.
Oh, it is. It's gonna be as they label it and code it, it's gonna be implemented in the work order system.
Okay, so this new position is to bring somebody on to update that in conjunction with the technology?
Yes, sir. And also do the physical work too.
Happen?
Also do the physical work.
Well, part-time, I mean, what you just said, you're gonna do more than part-time, okay. All right, those are the general ones I have. I'll yield to my colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Mr. Manager, you brought up about the code enforcement officer attached to Public Works, and you say you would explain once we get to Public Works. So what does that actually look like?
Well, we actually, good afternoon, Mr.
Good
Mayor.
afternoon.
This is actually, we actually have a budget workshop addendum. So we want to go through all of the departments first, and then we'll address them in the public workshop addendum. We also have, I do have some notes on that. I'll give those to you now.
Okay, and
So,
while you do that, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Oh, go ahead.
So under the stormwater section for Public Works, which is Part 3, A7C, we must maintain records demonstrating proactive inspections for illicit discharges, connections, dumping as implemented. This is also part of our MS4 permit for stormwater. So basically, in layman's terms, we need to maintain a code enforcement officer, which we've kind of been doing it as a joint service with Public Works, usually Johnny Hall or Mr. Carney, code enforcement and our police department. We did it with all county dumping anywhere. So that's an example of how this person's job would work. anytime that they found, and we also had the former IT director made a similar report. Anytime there's a report of somebody that is dumping into our stormwater drains, or there's a business that does not have drains as they're supposed to, this would be a person that would roam the city to look for those type of citations, violations, and issue citations.
Okay,
Commissioner,
Commissioner Kelly?
no, none of my colleagues have no questions on public works.
No,
Actually do.
I wanted to ask about the, I'm sorry,
No, go.
one last one.
Yes, sir.
The city street lights. We spoke about that yesterday. Explain that line item. It's under roads and sidewalks.
Well, so there is a line item that is to actually pay for the electricity.
Okay, I figured as much.
That 201.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Yeah,
good. I just
yeah,
want-
sorry, I've gone by memory. It might not be 100, 201, but it's close.
I figured as
That
much.
is to pay the electricity for the streetlights.
But it's the street lighting assessment is not included.
Yes, the street lighting assessment. is
That's what I was looking for here,
Okay.
but I didn't see it. That was the only thing that was close.
So that
to
will
it.
be in the addendum.
It's in.
Yeah, it's in the addendum. We added it
Okay,
to the budget.
got it.
Um,
And then go through it. We just got it. All right. And what about the transfer station? Is that something that we're still looking to do in the near future?
If we're going to move forward with some of the items that we have, that was something that's going to have to be postponed. And we thought it'd be a project that would be good to postpone, considering that we haven't had made significant financial investments into it at this time.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Williams?
Thank you. It seems like there's a little slippery slope between Public Works and the Beautification Department. I think Commissioner Kelly mentioned it a little bit there. I wanted to ask you just a few things. Well, so on page 126, it says in bullet 3 under the objectives, finalize installation of high-intensity streetlights throughout the city to increase safety and serve as a deterrent to illegal dumping. Are you all saying that this was done, or is this an objective? Because it's in,
It's an objective.
okay, because it used the word finalized, and I know that was a discussion that we had Monday.
Yeah, yeah. So it is an objective. So finalize is maybe not the best word.
Oh, no.
Implement and continue to
I'm
do
sorry,
so.
the English teacher in me says
I
finalized, like it was
know.
done. So that's why I was reading into like it's done. So we just
Yeah.
talked about it. And then how can that be done if I know that it was mentioned. And then secondly, the concrete. Mhm.
Commissioner Williams?
Sure.
If I could address Commissioner Williams' point, I think she's highlighting the more important point is that is an item for the beautification division and it should be under that section and not Public Works. I'm correct?
Correct.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
It's under, yeah,
It's under beautification?
it's,
Slippery slope in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And it says it's finalized.
Oh,
It used
got
the
it.
word finalized.
Okay.
And so, but Monday night, it was mentioned that it was not complete.
No,
That
ma'am, it's
we're-
not complete.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when I saw that, I thought, wait a minute, is it done or not? And then, page 129, I just, again, that slippery slope with the concrete mulch gravel, 15,000, right? So is this not like, so I'm looking and I'm going back to beautification. I know that's not you, but on page 117, of course, you have my lawn. I don't know, is that included in that, that really large bill that we pay? There's another one that's 32,000 for small supplies needed from hardware store. Well, wouldn't that be mulch, gravel? And then the 50,000 for fund improvements to the building. Well, I'm assuming that's mulch, gravel. I don't know. So I'm a little confused. I'm going back and forth. 'cause some
We
things
could get
look
you a
like
little
they-
more detailed. So to answer your first question, it is not part of our lawn mowing contract. They are literally out here to mow the lawn, edge, that's that lawn mowing contract for the cities and the swales and those kind of things. So that's that lawnmower contract. They do not add or provide mulch. That's an additional fee to do that. So when they do a sidewalk or they're doing swales, so because this is roads and sidewalks, if they have to purchase mulch, that's part of their division, and gravel, that's part of their division. Beautification would do any trees that are existing, have mulch to remulch or to do something along those lines.
So the mulch would sit, thank you, the road materials and supplies would sit in public works, but then that's then used in beautification?
No, so when you do a sidewalk, it's more when you do a road or the swale, a median. And you need to add mulch and you need to add gravel because they tore it up, because the backhoe is on there, because they were working. That then becomes a public works expenditure. Ongoing maintenance, continuing if the mulch is bad or we want to add more, that then becomes beautification, ongoing maintenance. So one is new purchase, if you will, and the other is ongoing.
Okay, I just think there should be a way to bridge both together, because right now it's looking like, and I think even Monday when I mentioned, there's these like little $10,000 sitting here and $15,000 sitting there and $20,000 sitting here.
Yeah.
That different departments kind of snuck away a little bit here. And I get it if it has to be used, but I think if there's a way to bridge, but I understand what you're saying. I'm
Well,
just,
no, but let me address that. If it's your budget, you are much more responsible for it.
correct.
If you're tearing up the street and you go, King will get that, it won't happen. It's your budget. You need to be responsible for it. Maybe you don't tear up the street because you are a little more conscious of your budget. Does that make sense? I mean, you have to give people ownership of what they're doing.
But
I feel, if I'm not, and not only that, I mean, we are, when we turn in these things, we want to make sure, because we do get bills from Public Works Department saying, hey, we need mulch, we need this, we need that. You're
so that's what
crossing,
I was
you're
saying. I know
crossing.
there's some type of crossover, but if Public Works is now saying, hey, King, and your analogy, why can't they talk? Like, why can't there be some communication? Whereas are we going to, if we're tearing up the sidewalk and we need mulch or gravel,
Right.
why can't that then sit in beautification? And which it looks like it is,
Yeah.
because it's,
Well, you also have to remember
Okay.
from a cost standpoint, I want to know how much it costs for roads and sidewalks, right? I mean,
Correct.
you want to know how much your second grade class is costing you versus your third grade class. Same thing. We want to departmentalize, keep our costs departmentalized so that we know, okay, this particular department costs us this much. Beautification costs us this much. And I want you to think of beautification as more maintaining the status quo. This is adding to adding new status quo, if you will. Does that make sense?
no, I got that.
Oh, okay. And I agree with you. There is a little bit of a slippery slope. That's why we took that trash and we moved that into beautification. That solid waste department, it was easier because there was overlap, and we moved that. You'll see that in FY25 that was moved over into beautification. So
Okay.
I hope that helps.
No, it
Yeah.
does. And I totally get it.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah.
say it again, I'm just saying that, and then of course, next time, I don't know when that next contract for Mylon or whoever comes up, but that should be a part. All of this should be a part of, because now we're going, okay, I need to find 20,000 for mulch, and if that should be a part of that particular contract, so that's not. And so what I'm saying is there's all these little, it doesn't seem like a lot, but 15,000 or 20,000, but if you put them together, if there's a way that like both departments can work together, I'm not saying the entire city, but on a project that's Public Works, and if mulch is sitting in beautification, then you don't have to necessarily have two separate line items for both. So that's just my spiel. Thank you.
Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Williams, because you hit some points I was going to ask. So I'm glad you asked those. Let me go back to page 129 first, which is the same page you just referenced. Is the backhoe lease the same concept as the vehicles? In terms of we're gonna own it?
4 years? Yeah, it is not through enterprise. We finance that and it's a 4-year financing term. So that's the backhoe. So what you're looking at is an annual payment for the backhoe times 4.
No, I got that, but I'm saying in 4 years, we will own the backhoe.
That is correct.
Okay. And the other question I have, which is found on page 135, we have vehicle repairs by vendors. I'm assuming, well, I'm not gonna assume, I ask you, because under other contracted services, are those repairs for what vendors? What is that?
For body work,
I didn't hear you.
body work,
Body work?
yes, body shop work. That's not done in-house.
Say it again.
Body shop repairs, not mechanical.
So that's just for body work, like accidents or something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I see another line item for 90,000 that's repairs related to accidents. So help me out to understand, if that one is 75, it says vehicle repairs performed by vendors. Okay, and you're saying that's body work, I guess, from accidents. Then what is the repairs related to accidents for the 90,000? What is that?
So the 90,000 is for insurance. So it's kind of a little bit, the way the accounting works is we need to pay the bill first, and then the insurance company turns around and reimburses us for the bill. Prior to a couple years ago, the insurance company was paying the full bill and we didn't have that line item. So in reality, that's we spend it, but then we get it back from an insurance reimbursement after a deductible.
Okay, well, you need to clarify that in the document.
I will.
because when
I
went
will.
online
That's a-
And I looked
yep.
at it, I'm gonna see
Yep.
repairs by vendors for so much, and then so the 90,000 is accidents that we have to pay for insurance.
Correct.
So you didn't tell me how many accidents we had, there's $90,000, and we're budgeting that much. And how do we hold accountable? Because I'm quite sure we got some kind of system, how we know who's crashing what, or why we got to fix this vehicle because somebody hit us or whatever. Where's that document? 'Cause-
And remember, it's not just vehicles. Sometimes there's property that may be damaged, and would be
Well, I'm
also
just going by what Mr. Carney said. He
Yeah.
said vehicles. So
vehicles. Yeah.
Because that's what
Sorry,
it
this
says,
is vehicles.
vehicles. So
You're right.
if
You're right.
it's-
This is vehicles.
It
This is
doesn't say
vehicles.
property.
Yeah, you're right.
It
you're right.
says vehicles.
So there are times when it takes a little while for the insurance company to reimburse us and to pay us and for an entire accident report to be completed. I don't have all the details. I would have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, don't give me an
yeah.
answer if you're not
Now,
sure.
yeah,
But I would like to know because just between those two, because you're saying what is insurance, that seems high for insurance. I mean, that's a lot of crashes or something is happening. And I also want to know, are folks being held accountable for that? Because I know there's supposed to be something set up internally, because we've had that challenge before with risk management. So is there something internally set up to deal with folks who are crashing, if it's their fault, our fault, somebody else's fault? Where's that documented? So we keep a tab on that.
Yeah.
And the vehicle repairs, you have budget for 75,000. I mean, is that a normal amount that you do every year?
yeah. So if you look on that one in FY23, we spent almost $67,000. We are forecasted to spend about $75,000 this year. If you look at our insurance,
And these are public works vehicles, right?
it includes police officers,
Oh, this-
all
so these are
vehicles.
all vehicles.
This is all our vehicles. This is the
Okay, so,
entire
and
fleet.
I'm glad you said that, because most of our stuff now is new. So why do we need all the repairs? Some of these things should be still, under warranty, under something, because they're all staggered.
Yep.
So that's a high number. And that's why I was leading, because if it's police and public works, most of our vehicles now are the newer variety. You got very few old vehicles out there. You got a few old police Tahoes, I think, maybe a couple of trucks out there that are old in public works. But most of our vehicles are new, and yet you're projecting 75, because last year you had 67, 68. That's still high, but just repairs. When I think repairs, I'm thinking stuff, under the hood that may go bad or whatever. But to me, some of that or a lot of that should still be under warranty because most of these vehicles are new. 'Cause you just said you buy them, stagger. So they're not all 4 years old. Some of them should be 2 years old, 1 year old or whatever. So how are you tracking that to know where's the paperwork to show that and what we're doing to hold folks accountable, whether it's police, whether it's public works or whatever, since it's all the vehicles. I'd like to know that. And the other thing is, gasoline, that's citywide,
That's
correct?
correct. Yep.
Is that still using the card system thing, whatever you call it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that number last year was what?
In 23, it was $293,000. We're anticipating about $344,000 this year.
Well, yeah, you got a budget at 362. And I'm gonna assume, why is that higher?
We have
Why
more,
is it so much higher? More
more
vehicles?
vehicles.
How do we determine how much gas somebody's using if they're using too much? I know we got the card system, so y'all can track technology wise.
Right.
How does that work? Who's responsible for that? Like if you have this vehicle in a given week, somebody's determined that you should average, 1 tank a week or whatever. And if you go to do your gas card, put it in there.
Believe it
you
or
had to go
not, but
twice a week.
budget does do an analysis on a monthly basis of all the inventory, of all the invoices.
Who does it?
Budget.
Okay, well, I'd like to see that. You can give a copy to all of us. I want to see that analysis because that number is really higher even with some new vehicles. And that leads me to my last point so we can move on. I didn't see a line item in here for cleaning the vehicles. Whose responsibility is that? I know a while back when I first came back, I was hoping to hire a couple of folks from the community to do that. And I was told we couldn't, that we were going to have another way. But I see vehicles that need to be cleaned. So who's responsible for that? Or where's the line item in the budget for it? 'Cause I didn't see it.
So I will have to get back to you on that through Mr. Austin. Aria. We do have a maintenance program. I don't know if that is included. That's why I wanted to, in the lease, there is a maintenance fee that is associated with each vehicle. And I just want to check, and make sure that's
So you're
what,
saying the maintenance fee, they'll wash the cars, wash the vehicles?
I have to check with Mr. Aria. I will get back to you on that.
Okay. And if we don't have it, then who's responsible?
We would,
I don't know why, you know what? I'm so tired of doing this. You got all these new vehicles out here and some of them need to be washed. So we either send to the employees, you wash them, or they use the card to go wash them. They
Right.
got to be washed. And I'm asking that because when I came back previous years ago, we had a little program. We hired people in the community to be out the public works or somewhere for 2 days out of the week to wash cars. Now we got all these brand new, beautiful cars. Some look shiny, some look like they need washing because they haven't been washed. I don't expect an employee to do it, I don't think, but if you got the gas card, why aren't they using that to go somewhere?
I believe, I will get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Public Works? All right, thank you.
Oh, right.
Moving to the.
So the next one is
enterprise fund.
water and the water distribution. So the enterprise funds, which is our water distribution,
Can you
which
give us the
distributes
page,
water.
please?
Say again, page 170, 171 in your proposed budget book. So our water and sewer fund consists of a few different funds. One is the water, one is the sewer. Another one is the servicing of it. And the other one, the final one is our financing department of it. Oh, and CIP management. So if you'd like to go through the water distribution is,
Any questions on the water distribution? All right, so I guess we go to, you got any questions?
No, I'm waiting on the water
Yep.
rate study.
Okay,
All that-
Okay.
that for me.
so then
Wastewater
the
collection and management.
wastewater is our sewer department.
Any questions on wastewater? Collection, transmission, right, water service line and meter maintenance?
Yep.
Any questions on water service line and meter maintenance? One quick question, have all the meters been, I know we, at one point, we was trying to change all the meters to digital. We've done all of that? And that's my only question for this line.
No, not this time. It's a work in progress, sir.
It's a work in progress. So when will we be completely digital?
Well, there's something we gotta make arrangement with Miami-Dade County with the contract, because they're responsible for the meter replacement. It's not done at Public Work.
Got it. Go ahead,
If,
Vice
if
President.
I may, do we know how many haven't been replaced?
I don't have that information.
But
ready
some
available.
have been replaced.
Yes, sure,
We
yes,
guess.
yes. And they constantly revising them. When they expires, they replace them new. Whenever the meters, they are to warranty, as the warranty expired, then they replace them and put in new ones with new warranty.
So the ones that are not digital, are we reading those or Miami-Dade County? Because I know we.
The
was-
county
we
reads
kinda-
all of them.
Okay.
Yes.
So that, excuse me, the next one is the stormwater, and that's where you will find that other compliance officer. So our stormwater fund, if you recall from Monday night, is healthy. We do have some revenues that are going to stormwater CIP. If there's any specific questions regarding stormwater? Stormwater does, now maintenance.
What page you on?
Oh, I apologize. I'm so sorry. Well, interrupt me. I get on a roll. 202.
He wanna hear us.
202. Listen, when you hit a guy and he's down, it's hard for him to get back up a little bit.
We- I-
So,
we
you
were still on the
you
last
gotta
one, and
give
you just
me-
like-
You gotta give me a minute to get back up and going.
In our book is 79. Here it says
No, I think we
82.
in the,
202.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
just telling you,
yeah,
it's
yes, thank you,
different page
thank you.
numbers here.
okay, so we'll catch up with you, Mr. Day, because clearly we was behind and.
That's okay.
you
That's
ready to
okay.
go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I do also want to go through it pretty quickly, you know, we don't have a lot of time. So.
Mr. Mayor, I
Mr.
just
Kelly?
have one question. In the water and sewer, before you go to stormwater,
Yes, sir.
in the leave payout, I know when this came up in the other night, talking about leave payout, and you gave, well, as an amount, this is like 100 and something, you said that was for payout and or folks who may, I think the manager mentioned that has challenges or something that they could, I guess, come and get, reply or whatever that process is. But I thought that line item was for the whole city, but I see it here. It has a leave payout also in the water, sewer, finance, and customer service, page 78.
You're also
So-
going to see it in stormwater. They're separate funds. We can't commingle the funds. Right? We cannot do that. So we have general fund activity here. That's the one you saw on Monday. Now we're talking about water sewer. And then there's a stormwater fund. We cannot commingle these funds.
Okay, I know that. I just want you to say it for the public.
Thank you. Okay.
I want to say it for the public.
All right, and
Thank
we're,
you.
we're in stormwater now.
Yes, we are in stormwater and like the city manager did say, this is where that other code compliance officer would be seen. Or their job title is in there and it's budgeted for.
Okay, so Mr. Manager, my question for that, as it relates to that public works, that code enforcement, their sole responsibility would just be this, compliance with public works. As public works.
The statute does,
Word that, but you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, and the answer is the statute doesn't require that it's exclusive. So absolutely, if they've done a survey of the city and all the businesses are in compliance, we don't have any illicit dumping or any other issues, and we are compliant with our MS4 permit, we would be allowed to utilize this officer for other responsibilities as well.
And I did ask you for that, the statute, is it in the addendum?
No, sir, I'm sending it to you as we speak.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can you send it to the,
Yes, sir, the entire
clerk?
commission.
Yeah, when I'm sending the clerk, so you can print it out. I like stuff
Oh,
printed
absolutely.
out. My eyes ain't good as they used to be. Thank you.
All right, any other questions for stormwater? We're moving on to water, sewer, finance. And Mr. Day, because it's, where page is that? Because
Oh, you wanted the water sewer finance?
that's the next one.
Yeah, that's 180, 180. Actually, stormwater was finished up with water sewer is page 180, 181.
Oh, it's backwards, okay.
Yeah. I thought we were done with water sewer. I apologize. I went to
All right.
stormwater fund.
Any questions for water sewer finance?
So finances, this is a division that really is just a pass through. We utilize it for transfers. We utilize it for a few other items, but there are no employees that are associated with this particular department. Pay debt, obviously, it's an important one.
Okay, all right, so are we done with enterprise fund?
Yes,
No,
you're
Commissioner
correct.
Kelly had a you said you were waiting on something, presentation or something. Commissioner Kelly?
Well, I'm assuming it's in the addendum, so I'll.
It's in the addendum. Okay, so.
I
we
don't know,
go to
I'll wait to see.
The CIP.
CIP funds are next. Good job, Mr. Owen.
For my favorite part.
So as you know, CIP, the first thing on here that you'll see is actually the CIP management. And this is Ms. Gross's department, her team. And so I think you have any questions on that? I'm going to ask Ms. Gross to come up.
I have questions, but more or less to you and the manager, because something that both of you said, that CIP is in a deficit. You said that multiple times on Monday. What does that mean? Because I don't think you ever went in depth with it. There's something about CIP being in a deficit.
Well, I don't recall stating that CIP is in a deficit. That being, I don't know, I see Ms. Gross smile. That would mean that it has projects that it does not have the funding to complete. So we don't initiate the projects or allow the projects to go through until the funding is there. So to that extent, no projects under CIP is deficit. Now, what is true is that if we look at projects that are not funded, that the city needs to complete, we have a significant amount of projects of public infrastructure, as you're aware, as it's been this way for quite some period of time. And I think City Manager Newell Daughtry first started reporting on this. Those estimates are between $80 to $100 million in public infrastructure deeds.
Okay, any questions on Ms. Gross or the manager or Mr. Date, the CIP?
CIP management,
yeah.
CIP consists of safe neighborhood, water sewer CIP, and of course, stormwater CIP.
All right, so Mr. Manager, can you give us a brief synopsis of what projects we will start and complete this year?
Okay, certainly. I'll defer to our CIP manager, Ms.
And what
Gross.
page can we reference?
for that.
149 and 151.
And, well,
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Adelina Gross, CIP Manager. This is page 149, 151st, on Safe Neighborhood CIP Part 1.
wait, what page are you on?
149 of your budget
Of
book.
your budget book.
Oh, I just, Mr. Manager, the book is out of order.
Okay, sir. We'll see if we can combine it for bite 3 at the apple.
All right, 149, 149. Okay, go ahead, you said it's on page 149.
So for next fiscal year, we are going to continue to add new sidewalk to the city where there is no existing, and finish the Sesame Street Bridge that project has already commenced this year. We are planning to finish the fire station, and that project is to be under review and still under design.
Okay, Sesame Street Bridge, let's go back. When is their completion date? What do you think?
We have estimated based on the schedule by April next year.
April 24th?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said the fire station is still under design. When do you expect the design to come back?
And design, they have encountered several issues with the dome, so they are working on the restructure of the complete dome of the fire station. And
I vaguely remember a commission meeting where you all presented a mock-up. What, that's not the,
it's going to look like that, but the dome has to be reconstructed from scratch. It's completely damaged.
so this is about the dome.
Yes, there is a structural issue with the dome.
And did we ever decide what the fire station was supposed to be? I know we were supposed to bring that back to the commission, but. Mr.
It has
Manager?
still to come back to commission for that.
Got it. And we're looking, you was giving me the date, when you think?
We are expecting to finalize design by the end of the year.
And what's the other project?
And the other one is sidewalk installation, and that's an ongoing, as we do regular, there's around 2.7 miles every year.
Okay, and I think Madam Vice Mayor brought up how the sidewalks in certain areas, I know specifically there's a street, I think it's Wilmington, where the trees are growing up through the sidewalks. Do we have a plan to mitigate that?
That's sidewalk replacement that falls under
That-
Public
that- that
Works.
falls- Mr. Manager, do we have a
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
sidewalk replacement?
Yes, sir.
Is there any way we can do an assessment, your office or in
We-
the city to check those areas?
We have,
Let me,
we have,
can I?
yes, ma'am.
Sorry. We have already completed the assessment. We are waiting for the analysis to come back. We hired that as part of the assets condition for citywide assets. And we did assessment of the roadway, lighting, and sidewalks and ADA compliance for the sidewalks.
Okay, the only concern that I have, and I know we're waiting on the assessment to come back, however, and Vice Mayor brought it up, it's a hazard. So somebody trips and fall, it's a problem. So
Yes.
is there any way we can maybe put a Band-Aid using our own employees in the interim of this assessment? Mr. Manager?
That's certainly something we can look into. We have to
Okay.
make sure we have the appropriate equipment and, yeah, we can see if we can get that done.
Mr. Mayor, can I piggyback?
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes, this is not new. I brought this up in maybe Monday since last year before we even did the assessment. And I know the process, it takes a process. And I asked then, the least we can do is put a cone around it, put some markings around it, so that people will not, fall, trip, go around or something. I know I see what a lot of the new sidewalk construction that the county and some of their vendors are doing, they do that. We have a lot of areas in our city, and that's why I asked earlier the Public Works about the assessment and the vendors and who's doing it, because they're not marked. We don't have a orange cone around, we have a yellow marking. And if we've done the assessment, we already know where they are. Now, I know we're waiting on the big plan, the big whatever, but until then, there's some out there that need immediate attention that we're liable for already. So, I mean, I know people can sue for anything nowadays, but we have nothing around it. And that's what really concerns me. Put the yellow tape around them, put a cone around them, put a barricade around them, check them every day if somebody knocks it down. But you have some serious areas that are like that. So since the assessment has been done and you actually know where they are, because I'm quite sure they're listed in terms of severe, not severe, et cetera, that can be done. That needs to be done, like yesterday.
We will
those
work with the
areas.
Public Works Department in conjunction for that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, and any other projects, major projects you want to highlight at this moment?
We are going to be doing Ingram Park core restoration and in Helen Miller, that's
Ingram Park
core, basketball court.
Court, okay.
Yes.
And when is that?
That's going to be completed by next year. We are still in the process of creating the RFP and looking into the grants because it is a grant fund that is per that.
Okay, Mr. Manager, I don't have a problem with the Ingram Park Court restoration, but I don't see anything about either football field. None of them. And basketball,
That will
we don't
be
have a,
under the Helen Miller Ingram Park renovation, the 1,050,000.
that's for the football field.
That's for the enhancements for Ingram Park.
Helen, no. Specifically the football field. You spoke to the basketball court.
I will defer to the manager.
So specifically the football field, basketball, but there's no place to have home games for our children. We've been asking for that for a while.
So certainly for bite 3, we can look to see if there's any money to, I'll get an estimate from Ms. Gross, and have costs put into the
Okay.
budget.
And maybe we can't do both, but maybe one, the Ingram Shabundy, but one of them needs to be regulated as well as, and I don't see the playgrounds in here either.
The playgrounds would be in this current fiscal year.
Oh, it's this year.
Yes,
Okay,
we're doing a piggyback contract on that.
got it. To be completed this fiscal year? or
I don't
next
have the
year?
time, we don't have the timeline yet. We're still negotiating the piggyback contract. And that will be brought to the commission.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other things you want to highlight or questions to our CIP director?
No, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna wait till we get to regular meeting with ARPA, because some of them tie into ARPA, so I'll wait till then.
All right. And I'm sorry, Mr. Manager, this has nothing to do with CIP, however, but you have it here, Historical City Hall. I'm assuming it'll be complete this year.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Yes,
Okay, so we know that there's a grand opening that we will have to do, but I don't see any line item that speaks to that, even under special events. So, and I only brought it up because I just read it in under CIP. So can we put a number to it?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, anything else for CIP?
Dave, did you get that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Just-
Go ahead.
the, it might have been asked.
Oh.
Okay, no. About the gateways,
yes, ma'am.
yes, that's what
I didn't ask.
Okay, I was
Go ahead.
texting, I didn't know. Really quick, this is already budgeted in. Is
Yes,
that why we have the minus here?
and it's budgeted for this fiscal year.
This fiscal year,
Yes,
okay, because I wasn't sure if I was reading it as if it was removed.
No, it's budgeted for this fiscal year. It's going to be presented tonight.
Oh, okay, never mind. Thank you so much.
That's why I didn't ask about it, because I remember you said that.
Okay.
All right, okay. And the police station is complete? 'Cause I
We
I
hope
see
so.
it here and I'm getting
Yeah.
scared. Is it complete?
It is complete.
All
We are
right.
still have some payments to do to the vendor, but that's because of him, not because of the project needs anything else.
But those payments were budgeted for. We're not gonna have. a
Yes,
ratification
that's
and all that
nothing to worry about.
Beautiful stuff y'all
Mr.
love to
Mayor.
give us. Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. With regard to the police station downstairs, have we come up with how we're gonna do that security thing, whatever y'all call it?
And I think the chief is.
Yes,
working on
we have. If you want, we can call the chief up to have a discussion with you about it, and we walk you through that process.
No, the chief has already showed me one time downstairs how
Okay.
it's supposed to work. I'm still not understanding where that machine is gonna be and what a police entrance in terms of how you get in. So maybe that's changed, because he showed me a couple of months ago while I was downstairs. So that's why I know something's changed, because I still see a challenge there unless you change the opening of the where the building is.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. So nothing's changed. We're going to add a desk on the outside of the double doors. Currently, the metal detector is going to be there. We're considering a new system that's external to the building that's going to allow for the metal detection to be external, which will open up that entire area. But nothing changes. We'll have two security guards, one at the entrance point, at the beginning point, which will monitor the metal detector as we walk in, and the second will be at the desk behind.
Okay, but that's still my challenge until you get the one that's right by the door, because when I come in the door, and that's what I said to you when you explained it to me, when you come through the door for your entrance to the police department is really right there.
Yes, sir.
The bar security thing is a little further down.
Yes.
So that's not my challenge, is down there, to go upstairs to the second floor if you're going. My concern is if I'm coming straight to the police department, I can go to the police department the way I understand it. I can go right in those doors as soon as I come in.
Correct.
Okay, so nothing is going to stop me. If I am a person who's got something on my mind, nothing's going to stop me. Now I know once you get in the little waiting area,
Yes, sir.
you have to be buzzed in. You got the little
Yes,
door. I
sir.
got that. I saw that. But my concern is I can come in the building. I can come into your waiting area
For you.
with whatever I may have on me unchecked.
Yes, sir.
So who's going to check me if I'm got something sinister in my mind before I come back to, let's say, see you or see whomever in those doors?
Great. So after our discussion, Commissioner Kelly, we started looking into what we're calling Safe Point at this juncture. It's two nodules that are outside of the main double doors that will detect 97 metallic objects, and they're focused in many different federal and local agencies. You may see them at the mall. You won't know what they are, but what they are metal detectors. And as you walk through, it identifies at the camera And once that pings, then that security guard at the gate will stop them and do a pat down.
Okay, but where's that? Where's that security guard?
Yes,
I like him for
yes,
two.
yes, Vice
Where's
Mayor,
the
even you.
security guard going to be? I mean, I've seen systems. I've seen other cities with systems. What I'm not understanding is when you come in, because now you're talking about something external at the main door.
Yes,
That's totally different. I don't see that budgeted. Now, it may be something you're working on, but I don't see it budgeted in terms of a line item for it
It's the-
specifically. And so he's shaking, he's saying it is budgeted. Where's the
sir.
budget at?
Page 232, that is the special law enforcement, page 232.
Okay, but that wasn't said to us the other night, because you made it very clear that was going to be limited to certain other things using the money from special law enforcement. So
Right, if you remember that Shot Spotter, it's the same company that does Shot
it
Spotter.
might be the same company, but it wasn't the same context. It wasn't the same context. Shot Spotter, because my colleague asked about it, and you're explaining about the shots, and you can, but nothing was said in the context of this right here. So you're looking at to put this technology on the outside.
yes.
And so it goes off if somebody got something that's supposed to. Who does it go off to? Who's going to who's monitoring that?
The secondary security point, it's going to be monitored. It's going to be go off alarm at both points.
Okay.
The video will be had. You see the video camera at the entrance. That's going to capture the video. The secondary security point will capture that as well. The guard at the primary entrance point, they will be notified as well. The alarm will go off, and they will then stop the person and wand them down and check.
Okay, here's my concern. And again, as elected officials, we get a lot of stuff just like you all get of folks going into government buildings, with things on their mind. And I'm just throw this in for free. Even in this building, I have concerns the fact that we're up here and the security is back there. And so if somebody was at podium and wanted to get to us, there's nothing to stop them because there's no anything between. So that first guard security person that's going to be where the go through monitor.
Yes, sir.
Let's say it goes off and they hear it ring, ping,
Yes.
whatever, and they gonna come do whatever they do, run over to stop them or whatever that process is, right? Is that's how it's supposed to work?
That's correct.
Okay, so then who's at that point now? Because you got other folks going in to the thing. Who's gonna
Well,
stop
everything
them?
shuts down because those double doors won't be open until access is allowed from the secondary point. So that's magnetic. The double doors are magnetic.
Mhm.
Once the secondary security guard is told by the primary that this person is okay, they will buzz entrance. That secondary door will not be open unless buzzed in by the secondary.
I'm not talking about the door. I'm already inside. And the reason I'm saying that, because that, going those doors, I'm not as much concerned about police or staff. I'm concerned because you got a lot of kids going in and out of there, going out of the building. You got other people that get lost because they think we're the state building. They're coming in there and sometimes turning around. I'm just concerned that the system you got, while it may notify us, we may see it, whether we're going to be able to react that quickly if it's somebody that's got something on their mind, especially once people know the police department is housed down there. What I'm referencing, not just the moment, but I'm looking at where we are historically in our society and how people are looking at government and law enforcement. So this first time I'm hearing about the outside. I'll wait to see how that's supposed to look. If you can, as best you can, give it to the manager, I guess, and he'll share with us in case it's something that's not supposed to be totally known. But I'm really concerned having enough people that if somebody comes through there and wants to do something, and you still got kids coming in and out of there, parents dropping them off. I sit sometime in my car and I watch the dynamic. That's why I'm asking about that.
Yes, sir.
And I'm really concerned of someone coming into the police waiting area, coming in there to see y'all, and they got something else on their mind, and they were able to slip through. And that's why I'm bringing it up. We're going to spend all this money on technology and having you in a beautiful, up-to-date, state-of-the-art building to do what we need. We don't need to have any challenges. I hope we want to catch it on the front end, whatever that needs to be to make sure it's secure. Folks performing in there and as well coming, to the rest of the city building. So I'll wait to see how that looks, Mr. Manager. I guess I hadn't heard that before, but we'll see how that looks. Okay, thank you for the explanation. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions for CIP? before we move on to IT?
Mr. Manager, are you going to, Mr. Mayor, it came up in the, first one, maybe it's in the addendum. The concept or the issue of moving from the third to the fourth and the impact that would, that has on potential leasing rental revenue for the building, but the commission needs to make some kind of decision. I see it in here, about the commission chambers relocation and other, I know that came up. So what's the thought process on that? You still waiting on the commission now?
Yes, as I announced on Monday, I'm going to request one-on-one meetings with members of the commission to gauge the will of the commission on how the commission would like to proceed with that.
So are you trying to budget? So you're not trying to budget for that for this fiscal year? That would be, I guess, a budget amendment, I guess, at some point, unless you.
Yes, sir.
Budget amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I still would hope that you schedule that meeting. So, we're not moving. That's one thing, but if the commission is going to move, that's going to require other things to happen. I'm really saying that because if we do move and allow some space that we can lease out to get
You're
some money,
expecting us
and
to
so we're
lease
going to
it
stop
out.
subsidizing town center. That's why I'm asking that. All right.
Understood,
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and we can, bring up IT. If no other questions, but Mr. Manager,
Yes, sir.
I would prefer to have that conversation in the sunshine with everybody together.
Absolutely,
Because
sir.
that's a moving part. 'Cause it not only involves the commission, but it also involves the clerk's office. So maybe, if we have time tonight under your manager's report, we can discuss at that moment. If not, then we can move it to our next commission meeting.
Yes, sir.
But that's in my opinion. And then we're moving on to
IT.
IT.
Yep. So,
And what page?
IT can be found in your budget book on page 227 and 230. I think it's important just the big number in IT is the ERP, the ERP, which we alluded to on Monday, which is the Enterprise Resource Planning System. That is it's Tyler is what it's called, and it's a budgeting software. It's a financial software. It's a HR software. It's kind of a software that helps to run the municipality more effectively, more efficiently.
Okay.
It is a big undertaking. They hope to start the process in January, and apparently the IT director is not here, but he explained to me that it takes about 18 months to be fully implemented. So it is a large undertaking.
I know the commission voted on this a couple years ago to bring this, and we all were excited that we were going into the digital age. What's the holdup? I know, I believe you talked to this
Yes.
about the
ERP system.
for the budget, not only the audit, right? Let me say that.
I can
Vaguely.
provide the details again.
Okay.
And if you heard it again, you just stop because it's a bit of a long story. So it has, the commission did pass an item that was almost like $1 million for ERP system. At that time, we did disclose before we even proceeded with this that we were behind in our audits. The company that was selected, that we did the piggyback contract, that's probably done like most of the cities, or at least a large number of cities here in the state of Florida and nationwide. They said that they did not require up-to-date financials in order to begin the implementation process. So we quickly found that not to be true, even though we tried to select for them departments that were not heavy with financial numbers and processing numbers or taking in a lot of money. Like, for example, the first department we started with for implementation was the police department. But even the police department does have some receipts and passing of cash. So they immediately requested, what are your year-to-date numbers, audited numbers? They wanted audited financials. We weren't able to provide that to them, and we stated that immediately. And from that time forward, the implementation process almost froze. Ms. Gant began to reach out to them at that time to say, okay, how are we proceeding? How are we going to move forward? And then after not hearing from them on that question for about 45 days, she then requested, okay, so what's the current bills? Now we're less than 90 days into the contract. We asked them for a current billing. They still did not respond to that. They still did not respond to that. December of 2023, they then did respond with the influx of bills. We were like 90 days in and we received like, I believe, $120,000 in bills for apparently work that they claimed they were doing in the back end in their offices without even engaging city staff or meeting with them, which of course we refused to pay and looked to terminate the contract. When we requested to terminate, and that went back and forth for several months, about 3 months. I think, yes, about 3 months. And then in March of 2024, they requested arbitration, which is a legal process. City attorney got involved and we began having those conversations. And we've been going back and forth. They've been making offers. And we've made counter offers. Their last offer was based off of when we will have updated financials, which at the very latest will be January of next year. Let's restart the contract of January of next year, which, we would agree to, and only pay for implementation services for the first 90 days. Now, that part of we're all in agreement for, but they also want to charge us. They also want to charge us some additional payments, which I've denied, and we're waiting to hear back on that. So I believe that they will want to work with the city of Opa-locka, that they don't want to lose this contract by trying to demand money for stuff they didn't do. So far, we've been very successful in those negotiations, and I hope that they will agree to that last offer, and we'll be able to commence in January of next year.
And how long was the contract for?
I believe 5 years. I believe 5 years,
So
sir.
will this have to come back before the commission?
It may have to come back before the commission. I'll defer to the city attorney for that.
Madam Attorney?
Yes, sir. I would like for it to come back before the city commission.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right, so don't, oh.
No.
Go ahead and finish your statement.
The only thing I'm gonna ask Mr. Manager, because I think it's been a long time since we heard about the ERP system and the Tyler technology. Maybe you can give us a breakdown on the expectation of this new processing system. Dues, what is it gonna do? In short, what is it gonna do?
Okay.
So that we can brief ourselves on it. Commissioner Kelly, and I think Commissioner Williams is next.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Well, I remember asking about this, matter of fact, when I came back, because I think this was done kind of right when I was terming out. Is this Tyler Industries or something like that?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, all right, so, yeah, going back and forth. So basically what you're saying, they want to be paid for some items or some things that we don't think we should pay them for.
Correct.
And you said you agreed, or they've agreed with you on restarting in 25 and those parameters, but they want some back money.
Correct.
How much is that back money? I mean, do we know what that number is?
I'm going off the top of my head. I believe the number was like 120,000 or something.
If I remember this contract, and again, it may have changed since I remember, it's very large. It's a lot of money.
It's $1 million contract.
Yeah, it's a $1 million contract. So I guess I would ask the attorney, since, I guess the man said you got involved. Is it worth it to go back and forth over that? Cause, and then we lose and be more, or just pay them 120 and start fresh or whatever, in the new year? Or do you feel we ought to just keep going back and forth?
Well, we're currently in a position where negotiations are taking place and both parties are open to the negotiations. The contract, frankly, started prematurely, where the city was not prepared to have the vendor perform the services due to audits not being in place. And so I think it was probably rushed. The vendor does appear to be working with the city to try to resolve the issue to start later. They do want to be compensated for some of the work that they have or they claim to have done thus far. And with any negotiations that go forward before anything is confirmed, because the dates would change and other things would change that are right now a part of the initial agreement, that will be brought back to you, and you will be able to, you know, ask the appropriate questions based on the amendment language that Mr. Williams and the contractor agreed to.
Okay, and that's why I'm saying that. So, Mr. Mayor, to my colleague, this is a $1 million contract. It's already behind. If we're talking 120,000 or whatever, I would just encourage the manager, i.e. the attorney, to try to resolve this as quick as possible and get it back to us for some kind of final resolution, so that if the beginning of 25 is where we're going to start, there's no hiccups, there's time to get everything in place so it can start, because this is really should have been farther along than it is now. So yeah, when is the next negotiation? How is that being handled, Mr. Manager? I mean, in terms you're negotiating, so when is the next meeting or?
Next week.
Okay. Well, Mr. Mayor and my colleagues, I would suggest that we kind of give that consensus, if you will, to the manager and to the attorney to try to, you know, because 120,000 going back and forth on $1 million contract, and we need the technology upgrades or whatever, our system doesn't, you know, and if we prematurely weren't ready, they probably will argue that in a court system. So, you know, that's probably not worth it. That's just my thoughts on it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right,
So the final ones are risk
Mr. Mayor.
management.
Give me one
Oh,
second.
sorry.
Commissioner Williams.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, so I don't want to go back what was just said. My colleague, said it, before I was able to, but, Mr. Manager, I think where, I wish we had heard all this information. So it was mentioned, but it wasn't given to us in this much, detail. And this to me is the first time I'm hearing that there was all this push and pull that was happening. And I think for me, I recall this was my first or second year. I want to say it was my first when at the time, IT manager, Mr. Nelson presented this big $1 million, $1.2 or $0.5. And my excitement level to finally bring the city into a digital age, and we were still very antiquated. And I still, you know, we're still, and so here we are 4 years later, and we're still antiquated based off of, if I do recall, bringing, I know the police department was one, the finance department still had a lot of antiquated, you know, auditing, those things that in order to bring us into the digital age, also building and licensing and all those things that I was really hoping that we could have seen by now. I agree with Commissioner Kelly. I hope that we can resolve this past issue. But it has taken so long, and we do hear from the residents when they're saying, hey, I can't even pay for this online. I can't use my credit card to do this. I have to come in and do paper and pencil. We're just so still, you know, we're still one of the last cities that's antiquated and still using paper and pencil for stuff. And at some point, you know, we're prepared. If we are going to do this, let's do it. It was budgeted 4 years ago. And so it's time to make it happen, because we're still hearing that, you know, how, again, I'll use the word antiquated that we are, and it's time for us to, you know, bring us up to 21st century. Thank you.
Okay, give me one second, Mr. Manager. And I'm actually, we made a decision at the meeting on Monday that you were going to pull items 11 and 12 from the consent agenda. We was gonna do a special meeting on Monday, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna ask, if the commission doesn't mind, we have one more department to present plus the addendums, that the manager be allowed to present it under his report during the commission meeting, because it is after 7 o'clock. So if you all don't mind.
Will we operate in terms of like it's a workshop, to be able to ask questions at the time?
it'll be under his.
I know it's on his report, but I'm talking about to ask the questions that may be.
So then let me yield to Madam Attorney. Madam Attorney, if we stop the workshop now and move the remaining items under the managers, being that it is a workshop and not an
Yes.
agenda, I mean, hearing, can we,
Yes, sir.
we can go back and forth?
Yes, sir.
Then, all right, so I'm gonna, motion to adjourn.
So we're stopping at IT?
We're gonna, no, we finished IT. Did we, we finished IT?
I
completely,
I
right?
believe so, unless somebody.
No,
else
you
had
said
to-
we had to do risk
Yeah,
management.
Risk management, we briefly covered that.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
For,
Kennedy.
I noticed in IT in the positions, you're taking out the special law enforcement person or position. So I'm assuming the police department doesn't need that anymore, or you.
So in
feel that-
speaking with the director of IT, when we were going over his budget, he, at one point, he actually had 4 employees and one of them decided to go elsewhere. When he had all 4, he felt like that was too many. And so he actually asked 3 is the right number for my department. So that's why we went with 3.
I'm seeing it says law enforcement, so I'm
yeah.
thinking that was particularly zeroed in for public safety. So that's why and you're taking it out.
Right. So now the 3 are covering all the departments, including law enforcement.
Okay.
And
yeah.
you're fully staffed now with 3?
With 3, we are fully staffed. There are no vacancies in IT at
Okay,
the moment.
so Mr. Manager, go ahead, Commissioner Kelly.
No, I'm done with that.
All right, we're stopping with IT and we're doing your report. We'll do town center and then the addendum. And then at that moment, we'll do our additions and then schedule for Monday. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Kelly. This meeting is adjourned. All right,